Yeah, we're in this business. That's a good topic. Good heading right there.
There it is.
Congratulations, man.
Congrats, man.
That.
Welcome to the family.
Joining us,
Oh, man, love it, love it. I watch you guys in the morning sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little early out now.
When my son is not sleeping so well, I'm up and then I catch you guys.
Welcome to the lifestyle. All right, Marcellus, we're talking about the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's coming off his best game of the season. This weekend, it's a crucial divisional matchup against Washington. Owner Jerry Jones knows exactly who the Cowboys quarterback of the future is, saying, quote, he's long-term. Anything we need to see and need to know, I see with him. He's not a bus driver, he's a weapon. And as mobility diminishes, then you'll pick up where he is with that great decision-making and with that mind he's got. I take offense with any serious projected criticism about his accuracy. He can get the ball within the circumference of where receivers can catch it, also known as catch radius. They need to help. Bam, Jerry Jones, you take that. I'll tell you about football when you need to know it. Hey, what was your reaction, Marcellus, to what Jerry Jones had to say?
Oh, man, he's a masterful businessman, and he's always in negotiations. And this is a time where he's negotiating with Dak Prescott when actually Dak is at his lowest point in terms of leverage. All the criticism on Dak. He's the reason why this offense can't go out there and play well. You know what Jerry is saying? This is when I pick him up, because this is how I'm going to ensure, one, if I want this guy going forward, hometown discount has already been planted in his brain. But more importantly, to his direct comments, I hate to be this guy, former Cowboy I was, cup of tea, not even a cup of coffee, just a cup of tea.
They cash?
They did cash all 17 weeks. But I will say this about Dak Prescott. In this inflated NFL, how they're protecting the quarterback, protecting the wide receivers, once in your career, give me 4 touchdowns in a game. You know, this year, Dak Prescott, I love you, big dog, but please go out there.
Can you throw for 275?
Throw for 275. Complete 20 passes at least once in a game this year. And you look at him, and this is what's a damning stat. In 38 games, he's had 3 games over 300. Applause. And then he's had 16 under 200. Like rushing yardage he's putting up as a passer. And everyone got caught up in last week against Jacksonville. Fool's gold. 38 minutes time of possession.
Everything is solved.
Running game. If you're going to make him Cam Newton light, tell me that. And as a defender, I'm going to smile a little more. I'm going to say, oh, yeah, that's not Cam Newton out there. So I hate to be hypercritical of what he is as a player, but right now I don't see him as the franchise quarterback.
But that's why, because you say he's Jerry Jones, great businessman, that's why I don't understand these comments. Because if I hear these comments and I'm Dak's agent, I'm calling now about an extension that Dak certainly doesn't deserve right now, but might never deserve. Like, what we know about Dak Prescott through those stats you just laid out, 38 games of his NFL career so far, he is not a guy that once you have to pay like a franchise quarterback and you are not able to have all the weapons around him that these young quarterbacks are getting in Kansas City, in Los Angeles, in Philadelphia, that is going to elevate the play of his teammates. Like, so I don't understand why Jerry Jones would come out and say these things unless it's one of those lies you got to keep telling to yourself. Because Jerry Jones loved Tony Romo. Jerry Jones felt like, man, we discovered Tony Romo, and to a degree they did. Like, it's not like Tony Romo was some hot prospect out of Eastern Illinois. And he told Tony Romo, you got to work somewhere else, because we found the younger, hotter, better version of you. And now I think there's a lot of people thinking that's a mistake they made. That Tony Romo in today's NFL, where you can't hit the quarterback, where we're seeing all these guys go into their late 30s, still productive, what would the Cowboys be if Tony Romo was still there? What would Des Bryant have been if Tony Romo were still there? Would Jason Witten have left if Tony Romo were still there? All those things. So I think Jerry's trying to convince himself that he has a franchise quarterback.
This is the thing that concerns me is for one, is who Jerry does his interview with. Marcellus been around the league, been covering the league, been doing shows for a long, long time. This is not no just ordinary radio show. You know, you do a little local radio show, you do a little favor for a friend locally, you know, you might spout off, give them a couple little nuggets. But when the big dogs come, the big publications, USA Today, because that's where this story is courtesy of, they have some of the best writers, been covering this game for a long, long time. You sharpen up on what you're going to say. That's why he brought out that big word, circumference, which Jenna said said means also passing a catch radius. So, like, I understand, Jerry. I understand what you're trying to do, even from a salesman standpoint, because no one has done it better than Jerry as far as selling his team. Not unless he just tells me that I'm going to go with a quarterback who's going to accept less money over the course of the next 4 or 5 years. I'm going to pay my offensive line. I'm going to pay my running back, but I'm not going to pay my quarterback. If that's what he's going to do, I don't think Dallas fans are going to be happy. It's hard to be America's team for the next 20 years, and you ain't won no playoff game. So for me, I don't understand why you have to make this comment early in season number 3, because this offseason, they're going to really have to, if this comment is true, they're getting ready to give Dak a lot of money this offseason because he is in his rookie contract. He was not a first-round pick.
He doesn't have a 5th-round option.
He's only got a 4-year contract, and no franchise quarterback is going into the last year without an extension. So, Jerry, you're going to have to put your money where your mouth is if this is true.
Unless Jerry Jones thinks that the only difference between Dak Prescott in year 1 and Dak Prescott in year 3 is that he's got nobody to throw the balls to this year, and he's going to go out and shore up that receiving core and say, well, we're going to get the Dak Prescott back in year 1. I just need to make him feel good and keep playing.
Well, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones had that opportunity in the draft. Calvin Ridley was just sitting there saying, hello, I'm here. Yes. And you want to go linebacker. In today's NFL, you don't go linebacker. You don't have the same impact. Guys are out there throwing it 50, 60 times in a game. You need someone who can make it happen in the passing game, stretch it down the field, throw guys open. And Dak, beyond what you see in terms of numbers and lack of production from his receivers, he's mentally conservative at a position where everything is telling you, go get it, be risky, high risk, high reward right now in the NFL. And he's not doing that. And I don't know if you ever turn that switch on.
No, man, that's a great point there, especially when we see people. We saw Josh Rosen get battered last night. It's hard to play when you don't have protection. Man, we see Baker Mayfield. Man, he's got that mentality you're talking about. Right. Man, I'm getting ready to go get this. I tell every guy in the league, man, this is your moment. You got to maximize it. I can guarantee you this. Dak will not play with a better running back than what he had. He will not play with a better collection of offensive linemen. The game will never be easier than what it is right now, and he's struggling with it when we have young guys. Cross town here, Sam Darnold, doing well with the Jets with less offensive weapons than Dak has, less firepower than he has. So we are seeing guys be successful at a young age, and to me, that's an indictment on Dak and others who aren't succeeding, Nick.
Sometimes you're too close to a situation to see a clear picture of it. A couple days ago, when Coach Mangini was sitting in the seat you're in, I put him on the spot because he's been hammering Pat Mahomes seemingly all year. And I said, tell me a quarterback under 26 you'd rather have than Pat Mahomes. I'm going to ask the opposite question. Tell me a quarterback under 26 that's playing right now that you'd rather have Dak than him. Like, who's the guy, who's the young quarterback that we're like, we believe in Dak more?
How old is Nathan Peterman?
Okay, well, that ain't right.
Hi, Jack.
And so regardless of how bad I play football, God's going to love me. Yes, he is, son. But he prefers to have a better testimony on the field.
So, but, like, I mean, people watching, some people might have said, Josh Allen. Okay, sure, maybe. Yeah. We'll see. The Buffalo Bills feel differently, but he hasn't played enough yet. Some people might say Mitch Trubisky. We'll see. He's had a couple. You said he's never thrown for 4 touchdowns, right,
no,
Jack?
No.
Oh, so Mitch had a 6 touchdown game a couple weeks ago.
Already.
Like, so if we're looking at it, if you're not the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, is he the 12th best young quarterback in football? Forget the veteran quarterbacks. Like, that is the situation they're in, which is why the Cowboys, whatever Jerry's saying publicly, privately, you know what they should be thinking about? How good can we be if we spend a first-round pick on quarterback with this offensive line, with Zeke, with being able to take the play in Philadelphia and other teams have done?
Yeah, I think the nugget from this is what Marcellus said. Man, if you don't have a young quarterback that has that go-get spirit, like in this NFL where it is easier than ever, then you need to proceed with caution. Because if you can't throw the ball now, as easy as they have made it as far as the bump, you can't fall on guys. You can't hit a quarterback low. You definitely can't touch him high. Like, if you don't have that overall mentality, that's why Baker Mayfield A year ago, he wasn't going to be the first pick in the draft, but people saw that overall mentality. That's great insight right there. Young quarterback, man, mentality-wise. Haskins at Ohio State, he's got that mentality. Ohio State had one 400-yard passing game in their history. Young fella, 2 out of the last 3 weeks, 2 400-yard games in their history.
In their history?
400, yes.
I didn't know
He's
that.
had 2 in the last 3 weeks. So, yeah, I like that. Yeah, be aggressive in your mindset to be able to build a match the overall passing game that's going on in the NFL.
All right, Marcel, stick around. Got to take a break. Coming up, should Tom Brady already be having nightmares about Khalil Mack? That's next on First Things First.
Sounds like a